The freedom from authority implies the freedom from fear.
All right.
And the freedom from fear implies the cessation of every form of violence.
If we stop violence, then our fear recedes?
No, sir. It's not a question of recession, of fear. Let's put it around the other way, sir. Man is violent. Linguistically, psychologically, in daily life he is violent, which ultimately leads to war.
There's a lot of it around.
And man has accepted war as the way of life. Whether in the office, whether at home, or in the playing field, or anywhere, war is accepted as the way of life, which is the very essence of violence.
Yes.
Now, and aggression or all that's involved. So, as long as man accepts violence, lives a way of life which is violent, he perpetuates fear, and therefore violence, and also accepts authority.
So these three are a kind of vicious circle, each playing into the other.
And the churches say, live peaceful, be kind, and love your neighbor, which is all sheer nonsense. We can't go beyond it unless one is free from it. Not intellectually or theoretically, but actually be free from every form of authority. Not the authority of the expert, but the feeling of dependence on authority.
All right. I think that...
Then, is it possible for a human being to be free completely of fear? Not only at the superficial level of one's consciousness, but also at the deeper level, what's called the unconscious. Otherwise, you're bound to accept authority of anybody. You are violent. Violent is not separate from you. Is it a fact that there is an observer different from anger? Careful, don't answer. Look at it carefully. Anger is me. I'm not different from anger. Right? Violence is me. Non-violence is not me. Right? That's just an idea. The fact is I'm violent. That's a fact. Non-violence is non-fact. But we pursue non-fact because we don't know how to deal with what is. Right? That is, I've invented non-violence. This country is full of that, non-violence. At least they talk about it. But the fact is they're violent. The fact has no duality. You see that. I just discovered it. You understand? The fact has no opposite. I am angry, that's a fact. But when I say I must not be angry, then duality arises. So, very interesting. I wish your brains go into all this. So, I'm angry. That's a fact. What am I to do? I won't say I must not be angry. Then I'm in conflict. You understand? I won't suppress it. There's no suppression, there's no escape, there's no transcending it. So what happens? Go on, sir. What happens when there is no movement away from the fact? Go on. It is the movement away from it creates conflict, creates duality. And volumes have been written by clever Indians about duality. The speakers say there is no duality right from the beginning, because there is only the fact. But when I want to get over the fact, then I create duality. Right, sir? See, then what takes place? How to remain with the fact. Means not move away from the fact. Any movement away from the fact is conflict and duality. So, when you remain with the fact, what takes place? You work it out. I'm working it out. But you work it. What happens when you remain with the fact? Which means what? You are, I can tell you, you will say yes, yes, and go away. You don't apply. When I move away from the fact, it is a wastage of energy. Right? So when there is no movement away from the fact, all energy is there. Which means complete attention there with the fact. And when there's complete attention, then it's like light. So being high-powered light being thrown on the fact. And then the fact reveals all its content. You understand? Physical violence, killing each other, hurting each other, physically, by word, by a gesture, by a look, right? We hurt each other. And what is violence? That's also part of violence. The word, the gesture, the blow, the bayonet, the ball. So, what is right action which will encompass the whole movement of violence? Right? What is right action? Right? Which is non-action. I don't know if you follow this. Any action born of violence is violence. One country is aggressive, and you respond with aggressiveness to that country. This is what's happened. And that is That's positive action, which is considered positive action. You hit me, I hit you back. But seeing the whole nature of violence, observing it closely, there is only a state which is non-action. I wonder if you understand this. What is considered positive action with regard to violence in the ordinary accepted traditional sense is to retaliate. Right? This has been our tradition. We own that particular piece of land miles away, and if anybody is aggressive, enters into that land, I send all my warships to it. This is what is happening all the world over. Meet aggression by aggression. And that's considered positive, realistic action. And this has been the history of mankind for thousands of years. So when one investigates into this whole problem of violence, any movement from violence is still violence, right? If one understands this. Therefore, when there is violence, no response to violence, which is the most positive action. Please ask yourself, why do we choose psychologically, inwardly say, I will do this, I won't do that. This is right, that's wrong. I'm violent, but I must become non-violent. I have pride, but I've become humble. You understand? This inward choice going on all the time. I haven't understood the nature of violence, but I want to escape from that. Therefore, I create the ideal. So, after creating something which is not, then there is conflict between what is and what I think should be. This is what we are doing. So, I say to myself, before I achieve the other, which is non-violent, I must first understand what is violence. Violence is not only physical, but great deal, much more psychological. When I conform to a pattern, when I am being allowed to be programmed, understand? When you tell me what I should do, because of the good of my soul or my psyche or whatever it is, and you become the authority. So when I accept authority, there is violence. You understand? I am confused. I am disturbed. I want certainty. And you come along, the guru, the priest, the psychologist, the others, and they become the authority. I have created them out of my confusion, my disorder. So I realize
as long as there is an authority subjectively, either the experience which I've had, the memory of that experience which becomes the authority, follow all this, or the authority of somebody who says, I know, I will tell you all about it. The nasty, ugly gurus do all this, coining money. They are one of the most rich people in the world. Your evangelists, the churches, the tremendous organizations. They say, have faith, believe, accept. And I am so frightened, I say, and gullible, I accept it. So I am creating out of my disorder authority. So, one of the causes of conflict, disorder, is psychological acceptance of authority. That means, can one live without a single ideal, single authority, so that one lives in great order now, not tomorrow?